Hello, I'm Peter Thompson from WiseWork, and I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about some very interesting research we've carried out recently on behalf of the Telework Association, looking at the productivity of people who work from home. We set about this challenge of trying to find out if people are really more productive when they work at home. A lot of people talk about this, and also to try and find out some of the reasons behind it. So we set about a survey. We managed to get 350 people who work at least some of their time from home to fill in a questionnaire on the internet, and we asked them to compare their work at home with the equivalent working in an office or their normal place of work. We said where possible, if you can measure the amount that you produce, then we'd be very interested to know the amount of productivity, the increase that you have. And also we really wanted to try and discover a bit more about why is this? What's the difference? What's causing this? So let's have a quick look at who responded first, and we can see that we had people from various sizes of employers, from 30% about who were the self-employed or the small businesses, through to 17% working for larger organisations employing over 100. So a good cross-section of size of organisation, and good cross-section of public, private sector, and 20% working to some extent in both sectors, probably reflecting the fact that quite a few people in this sample were providing services based from home to clients in both public and private sectors. We asked people how long they had been teleworking, and again a few people, about 10%, were relatively new, been working for less than a year. A good chunk, almost half in fact, in the kind of 1 to 5 year bracket. But quite a lot experienced, 21% there saying that they have been working at home for at least some of their time for over 10 years. Then we asked, well, okay, how much of your time do you spend working at home versus working in the office? And looking at the people working at home, there were people who spent 31% of the sample working pretty well full-time at home, spending the equivalent of 5 days a week. Doesn't mean to say they didn't also work in the office. Particularly some people would go into an office and work extra time. In the same way that there were some people in the sample who worked 5 days in the office, 14% of them, but still worked at home as well, so we're doing extra time at home. And quite a few people who don't now work in an office at all, but we're still able to compare how productive they are now with their time they used to spend in the office. So again, a good cross-section of people from the full-time home worker through to the almost full-time office worker who still spends an occasional amount of time working at home. So we asked them all, okay, so do you think you're more productive? Are you definitely sure that you're more productive? Are you possibly more productive? Are you not really sure? Or do you probably or possibly know that you're less productive? Well, the figures speak for themselves. Almost 60% saying definitely, I know I am more productive when I work from home compared with working in the office. Another 25% saying, well, I think I am, I possibly am, I'm not 100% sure. And relatively few, only 10% saying I don't really know, and very few people saying I'm probably or possibly less productive. So looking at that in more detail, we can see that it's 10% of people who say that equal 5% roughly who say that they have lower productivity, and 36% saying yes, okay, I know that I am more productive, but I can't actually measure it. For a lot of people it's quite difficult to measure their output that accurately. But we said if you can measure it, give us a figure. And surprisingly, relatively few people said, well, I'm just 10%-ish or something up to 10% more productive. Only 4% of the total sample said that. There's quite a lot more were saying that they were higher productive, even to the extent of some people saying they were 50% or greater more productive. In other words, producing half as much again in the time they're spending working at home compared with working in the office. If we look at that in slightly more detail, just taking the people who said they could measure something, so eliminating those who weren't sure they could measure it, amazingly, almost a quarter of those people who said they could measure it said, yeah, not only can I measure it, I get more than 50% increase in output working from home. So for every hour work in the office, I get an hour and a half's work worth done working at home. I'm that much more productive. And and even the people who are saying they're only 20 or 30%, still a significant number, getting a massive increase in productivity if you think about what that does to an organisation. So he asked, well, why is this? What's going on here? Well, quite a lot of people, when we said, just tick all the reasons you can think of, said, well, obviously commuting time is one thing. If I can spend 1 or 2 days a week not travelling 1.5 hours each way, 3 hours a day, I could save 6 hours a week. So I can spend, even if I don't spend all of that working, some of it on my personal time, I'm still going to end up doing more for my employer. People saying, well, if I can fit my work around my other commitments, then I'm going to be more productive. Or I can concentrate better, I've got fewer interruptions. This perhaps reflects on the average open plan office, which maybe is not the most productive place to work. And some people are saying, look, I'm less stressed, I have more freedom, and because my employer trusts me to work from home, I feel I can kind of repay that in some way. I'm more motivated, more dedicated, more loyal, and feel I'm prepared to put back something because I feel I've been treated well by my employer. Then we ask people, okay, well, just pick the one main reason. And here, the order changed slightly because people said, okay, the top reason looks like it's fewer interruptions. If I really stop and think about it, what is the one thing that makes the difference? In the office, I get interrupted a lot, people walk past, there's noises going on, so on. If I can do quiet work at home, I'm going to get it done a lot faster. And that ties in with a lot of experience we see of people who take work home to get it done because it's a quiet environment. But also fitting work around family and other commitments. If I can work at a time that suits me, I'm going to be more productive than being forced to work 9 to 5:30 or a particular time that I may not feel that productive myself. Using commuting time again obviously is something that makes people able to dedicate more time. But also people saying, well, I can concentrate better. It goes along with there being fewer interruptions. I can concentrate and therefore get more done. And I still appreciate the freedom and so on. So what are the conclusions from all this? Well, if there's an overwhelming majority of home workers, teleworkers, whatever you want to call them, are increasing their productivity, and not just by small amounts, by really quite significant sums, this can't be ignored by employers, by businesses. If you can get that much more out of people, why are we treating people who work from home as people who we're doing a favour for, we're doing it for work-life balance reasons, for HR policy reasons or whatever? We should be doing this stuff for business reasons. Surely if we know that people are where the home environment is right, not everybody is suited, but where they can get fewer interruptions, where people are able to get a better work-life balance, they are that much more productive, they're much more loyal employees and so on. So this really needs to be part of business strategy. So the implications really here for organisations are that they've got to rethink some of the traditional assumptions about homework, make it part of the business strategy and gain the business benefits. And that the risks in doing this are relatively small, but managers are still nervous about doing it. So one of the things that we can offer is training for managers, help, consultancy help, and getting people to understand how you can really get these business benefits and turn around this image of remote working, flexible working, home working being just an employee benefit. It's not. It's part of business strategy. It should be embraced by line managers who want to get the best out of their people. So good luck in implementing your version of flexible and remote working.